Well, Oahu is set to get a second and much-needed trauma center. The state health department says it expects to sign an agreement with Tripler RE Medical Center by the end of the month. And more trauma centers are expected across the state thanks to the cigarette tax. KITV4's Jody Leong explains.
Tripler Army Medical Center primarily cares for Department of Defense employees and their dependents. But under the proposed agreement, the facility will open its trauma center to non-military residents.
We're trying to make sure that we have everything in place within our hospital before we take the non-DOD patients.
Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Edwards says Tripler is in the process of making administrative adjustments and hiring 2 additional trauma surgeons.
I think that we have a lot of expertise due to our combat veterans that are here in handling, a lot of the trauma that we see in war.
State Health Department Director Loretta Fuddy says under the agreement, Tripler would receive an annual $350,000 in state funding to accept non-military patients at its trauma center.
The funding comes from the state special trauma fund, which was created through the cigarette tax.
And we're able then to work with the hospitals to bring them up to speed to be trauma levels. This will be very exciting for Oahu because they will be able to provide services to a civilian population for West Oahu. And they will be able to receive trauma patients, stabilize them, and if necessary, transport them to Queens for hospitalization.
Tripler would cover trauma patients from Aiea to Waianae. Although Hawaii Medical Center was not considered a trauma center, the closure of its facilities makes the state's agreement with Tripler more urgent.
Whenever you have one facility go down, there's always concern. Of course, we always are concerned if we have any kind of mass casualty or any kind of major event.
Jody Leong, KITV4 News.
Now, Fuddy expects Tripler to start accepting civilian patients in about 6 months. That's once the health department verifies that proper standards, protocols, and procedures are in place. Fuddy says the special trauma funds are being used to open other trauma facilities. This year, they'll be on Maui, West Hawaii, and at the Kapi'olani Medical Center.